All right, you guys ready for this? You ready? Because I'm about to hit play. You need to be ready. So, three, two, one.
Yeah. Yeah. So recently, Chris Rowan and I had the opportunity to sit down with a man named Steve Clover, who some of you may know is one of the co creators of EverQuest alongside Brad McQuaid.
Okay. Well, sir, you have now piqued my interest. I've now gone from being on the sidelines thinking, oh, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen might be a game that one day I might perhaps play, if it ever actually comes out. And now you've moved me into the category of, maybe this game actually does have a Snowball's chance in hell of coming out. Intriguing. By the way, I'm joined by Luke and Leia today. They've had their dewormer pills. They're a little grumpy, just wanting to rest in the air conditioning with me, so they're here as well to talk about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, which I have never done a video for. And I've had people ask me, "Why don't you do videos around Pantheon?" Well, I'm around Nathan and Sparrow and Bounty Code. I multi-stream with them. We play a lot of games together. They're part of our Weave in the Void campaign. Nathan did artwork for it. Bounty and Sparrow's daughter has done artwork for it. We play the D&D live stream on Sunday nights. We multi-stream together in Warcraft on Thursdays. We do P99 on Fridays. We're starting to do the Vanguard on Tuesdays. Like, why don't you also cover that game, Tim? And if you've ever heard me during the live streams when they start getting all excited about Pantheon, I'm always very much in the ballpark of, nah, if it ever comes to fruition, whenever they actually announce a date, I might actually, I'll buy the alpha and I'll get involved and everything else. There are a variety of reasons for it, mostly related to just, a lot of people don't remember this. I was the first community manager that Brad brought on board after the Kickstarter. Before I ever started Stormhaven Studios, before I ever started work on the Saga of Leucemia, that's how I found out about the Unity game engine, was because I was in Playa del Carmen making videos on the beach promoting the hell out of that Kickstarter for Pantheon, and Brad came to me and said, "Hey, we need a community manager. Are you interested?" And I went, "Fuck yeah, I'm interested." And then stuff happened, and the paycheck was used for medical expenses, and Tony and myself and other people said, "You know what?" And I was with that wave of first people who just left. And then I went and did my own thing. And I know people have questions about that. I still can't talk about it, legal reasons and etc. But I can say this: having spent basically 7 years of my life as the creative director on an MMORPG, managing 20 team members, signing investors, getting Bob Brown onto the company. I've been there, I've done that. There's a reason why my brother and I are not working on an MMORPG this time around with my wife. There's a reason we're doing a point and click game right now. It gave me a lot of insight into what it takes to get an MMORPG off the ground if you're an independent team. And that insight has always, you'll notice that I don't really ever cover upcoming games on my channel here. I pretty much stick to games that are already out. There will occasionally be an early access title that I might cover. Um, Solasta was a good example. Baldur's Gate 3 is an example. But these are from trusted companies and they're early access products that I can get my hands on, that I can play now, and I don't promote them on my channel until I've actually had a chance to play through them and think that they're actually worthy of being promoted on my channel. Knowing what goes into an independent MMORPG, the amount of money, the amount of time, the amount of dedication, one of the things that has always frustrated me, especially in recent years when we've seen all these just issues with games taking 10, 12 years to come out, moving goalposts, no deadlines being held, no accountability from anybody, money being robbed and stolen and used for other things other than development, rebrandings happening, and all these switcheroos that screw the customers out of things they ordered. I just don't have a lot of faith in independent MMORPGs. I don't. I just don't. And a lot of that is just me having been on the inside, knowing what goes on behind the scenes, knowing that even AAA companies with tens of millions of dollars can fail, aka Shroud of the Avatar, aka Crowfall. You know, I just, if you can get it to launch and you can show me that it's a good product, I will then pay attention to it. But until that point in time, I don't really get excited about upcoming titles, at least MMORPGs. I will say though that this announcement has taken me from being on the fence about Pantheon. Maybe, perhaps one day it might come out, and if it does, I'll be interested. And then this news, and this individual in particular, has now got me in the position of sitting up in my chair and going, "Oh, really? Indeed, really? Mm. Now I think you actually do have that snowball's chance in hell of making this come out." Because here's the thing, Steve would not be willing to put his name on a title unless he was sure of a couple of things. One is that the vision is there, and two is that the product is far enough along and actually has a chance of releases that he's willing to go out there and put his name on it, right? Look at this guy's titles. Look at the games, not just EverQuest, also Vanguard Saga of Heroes. Let's listen to them talk a little bit more, and then I'll continue my rant. By the way, before we do, this is my call out where I get to say, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get more updates like this in the future. Don't forget you can support the channel via super thanks. Down below, choose your amount. I live stream every day. Hopefully you'll tune into one of those. You can always support via super stickers and super chats. And of course, if you want to go above and beyond and check out the game that I'm making with my wife and brother, it's a 5th edition tabletop setting, a point and click adventure game, and a book series, weaveandvoid.com or patreon.com/wandering hermits. That's the commercial. That's my call to action. Let's listen to these guys talk about more why we should actually start to pay attention to Pantheon.
Um, Steve was responsible for not only a significant amount of the general coding that went into EverQuest, but he also did a significant amount of the heavy lifting for when it came to design. He touched everything from player races, zone design, the overall map layout, many of the gameplay systems. Steve approached us with an interest in joining Visionary Realms, and I'm happy to announce we brought him on board as the newest member of our programming team.
That's really exciting. He approached them, which tells you a few things. It tells you that the product is finally far enough along that a veteran AAA MMORPG developer who is a co-creator of EverQuest and the backbone behind EverQuest, Vanguard Saga of Heroes, two of the games that Brad McQuaid worked on and was the creative mind behind. This guy, if there's anybody out there who is qualified to actually understand Brad's vision and actually know what he would want, it's this guy. It's Steve. Because here's the thing. When you know someone for a few years, you know him a little bit. But when you work with someone for decades, it's more than just that person. You know how they think, you know how they want to work. You can sort of start to guess how they're going to react to certain things and how they want things done. And a lot of times I've heard people talk about how, we should support Vanguard, excuse me, we should support Pantheon. I almost said Vanguard because that's what we're playing right now on Tuesday's multi-stream group. Check it out. Um, I've heard a lot of people say one of the reasons we should support Pantheon is because it was Brad's vision. We should want to support it because it was the final project that Brad worked on before he passed, and for some reason we should hold a torch, be carrying that torch for Brad. I don't feel that compulsion. I don't like. It's great to have that as like your guiding principle, but I don't think it's enough to hang your entire product on. Like to try to say that, well, we're building the game that Brad was working on when he died and it's going to be his legacy after his death. That should only be used for so long before it should be more about you guys creating your own game that's based on the tenets that Brad wrote down. But the reality is that people who have only worked with him for a few years, only knew him for a few years, in my mind, don't have the intimate level of connection that Steve did, and therefore this is someone who, in my mind, is the best qualified to actually take that vision and make it happen, as opposed to others who are trying to interpret the vision. In my mind, this guy doesn't need to know how to interpret it. He's already been there with Brad, worked on multiple games with him, launched several games together. He knows these things intimately. Just my perspective on things.
Steve has a true passion for the game that we're creating, and he's already dived straight in deeply. He's busted out our bank system. He's coming down the home stretch on our death system, including our near death mechanic, which I'm excited for us to kind of talk through a little bit.
So this is very interesting to me because they say here that he's already banged out the bank system. He's already banging out the death system. He's doing this, that, and the other. This is the difference between programmers and people who have never worked on an MMORPG before, who are floundering here and there, constantly refactoring because they're not sure if something's going to work or not. And by the way, these are all of the reasons why I have a hard time trusting independent teams, because there's a lot of flipping and flopping and back and forth and refactoring, and that's natural. Happened with our team as well, because you're going into things and you don't necessarily have the 20, 30 years of experience that tell you exactly how to do something. So you're gonna do something, you're gonna fall, you're gonna scrape your knee, you're gonna pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go, well, that didn't work. How do I do that better? And then you're gonna do so. Steve doesn't need to do that. Steve's already fallen 30 years ago. He's already scraped his knees. He's got scars, battle wounds. He's got tattoos covering up the scars. Like, this is a guy who knows how to get shit done. And that's why, for me, this is what has made me now perk up a little bit and say I'm interested in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen now. Like, I'm actually looking at this product as something that does have a chance of releasing, and in my mind, having this veteran on the team has made me go from just being on the fence to actually maybe not being in the ballpark quite yet. Like, I'm not necessarily on the sidelines cheering for the team, but I'm now sitting down in the bleachers. I'm not like just hanging out at the fence. I'm sitting down. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna get a Coke. I'm gonna get some hot dogs. I'm gonna kick back. I'm gonna relax, and I'm gonna prepare to watch this unfold, because I now am genuinely interested in what they've got coming down the pipeline. I still want to see deadlines. I hate moving goalposts. I hate the fact that there's no actual deadlines for anything. That's something that from a management perspective drives me up the wall when you don't have deadlines and you don't have dates that you're shooting for. Because if you've ever worked with investors or publishers or anything else before, milestone payments don't happen if you miss deadlines. If you get to a deadline and you haven't hit all the things that you were supposed to hit, that money doesn't happen. You don't get the next check. It gets withheld because you screwed up and you didn't make something happen. And that's one of the biggest issues I have with crowdfunded projects like this, is they don't have any accountability. Now, having a veteran on the team who has been there before and knows how to push the production pipeline forward and knows how things should be working and can help, oil those wheels and get it all moving forward. I'm, consider me, like I said, I'm in the bleachers now. I'm sitting down. I'm starting to rub shoulders with people, saying hi to everybody. Let's see how this works out. Yeah, I could say that now. Love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. Happy gaming, everybody. See you next time.